Hey, Vinny Lopes here from Off the Block, and the new college men's volleyball national media poll is out. Now, I'm a voter in this poll, so let's get to how I voted in this first poll of the 2014 college men's volleyball season. Number one, I had in Long Beach State, the 49ers were able to get a big victory to win the UC Santa Barbara Invitational, defeating Harvard in the championship match. And I'll tell you, this team returned a majority of their stars from last year, and they showed it in that non-conference tournament, going undefeated, and including in some exhibition pool play matches. And Taylor Crabb and Dalton Hammerman, they both look strong, both look good. This is going to be a good team that could contend for our Final Four spot later this year. Then number two, I have Stanford. The Cardinal, they had a great season opener, picking up a non-conference victory against UCLA, hitting almost 500 in that match, and you had 4 players with more than 10 kills in the victory. It's a well-balanced offense. They're going to be a high-powered offense throughout the season. Then number 3, I had Loyola, the Ramblers. Talk about a great start of the season when on back-to-back nights you can knock off UC Irvine and then BYU. Stumbled a little bit against USC, but that is to be expected when you play 3 high-quality teams in back-to-back-to-back nights. The Ramblers, they are a good team, and it's going to be very difficult to beat them on their home court this year. Then, at number 4, we have UC Irvine, the defending NCAA champions. Had that loss against Loyola, but they were able to go on the road, go into difficult Midwest environments, and get 2 big non-conference victories. This team looks good. It looks like that they were able to replace some of those pieces from last year's championship team and are going to be in the mix again this year at a potential three-peat. Now, at number 5 on my ballot, I have USC. That's right, the Trojans I put in there for that big victory they were able against Loyola. And you can say what you want about this team not making the playoffs last year, but this is a completely new team. When you have all those injured starters returning, and Madison McGiven and Henry Cassidy, and then you have a player like Micah Christensen, who right now might be the best player in college men's volleyball. When you have a player like Christensen setting, it gives you a chance every single match. USC, for now, is a top 5 team. That could change in a few weeks, but for now, with the way that they played in that season opening victory against Loyola, they are a top 5 team. Then at number 6, we have UCLA, the Bruins. They had that tough loss against Stanford, but this is a team under Coach John Sproul. They're going to be fine. They're going to play great. Very interested to see what they do at the Outrigger Invitational this weekend. Then, moving to number 7, I have Lewis. The Flyers had a big victory against BYU in non-conference play. This team with Petty and Powell on the outsides look very, very good. And then BJ Bulldog, he just might be the most underrated setter in college men's volleyball, and he's an All-American. He plays great. Those 3 players are going to give Lewis a really good chance to have a strong season. And I'm very interested to see this week coming up that non-conference match between Lewis and Stanford. That could be a really fun match just to gauge where both teams continue to be early in the season. Now, continuing down my list at number 8, we have Penn State. They haven't played yet, so you base it off what they did last year. They have almost all their stars returning from last year's team that made the Final Four. Very interested to see what this team does, though, in the Outrigger Invitational this weekend. Now, at number 9, we have BYU. Now, Cougar fans, I need to tell you, do not panic. This team is going to be fine. A couple of things here. Yes, they're 0-2. One of the first times in the last 10 years that they have been 0-2 to start the season. However, it's not like they were playing horrible teams. They're playing really good teams on the road in the Midwest. Those are 2 high-quality losses that they have. And then you add on the fact that their opposite in Tom Dobman or Dobert is out, was injured. This team, once they get healthy, is going to be fine. You have Taylor Sander. He's still an outstanding player. He's going to be in the running for National Player of the Year. So don't freak out. You're a little low in the rankings this week, but I would expect for BYU to be back in the top 5 within the next 2 weeks. And then at number 10 to close out my ballot, I have Princeton. The Tigers, that's right. I really like the Tigers. I am high on the Tigers this season. I like all the stars that they have returning. Cody Kessel, I think, is an absolute stud player who is just continuing to develop and improve. And then you add all the returning pieces. Princeton, don't sleep on them. They are a team that could wind up in the NCAA tournament, potentially knock off Penn State later this season. Well, that does it for my breakdown, my top 10. Be sure to get all your college men's volleyball news and analysis by going to offtheblockblog.com.